Dr. Brian Jany of the All People's Party has called on Gambians to eliminate what he called politics of lies and deception ahead of the December presidential polls. India's move to halt vaccine exports could disrupt Africa's vaccination campaign, according to the Africa CDC. And Gambia's utility regulatory body and partners met to discuss petroleum-related challenges in the country. Well, these and more coming your way in News Desk. Hello, this is Africa TV. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante, and now the news in detail. Now, the leader of All People's Party, Dr. Brian Jany, said Gambians should end the politics of lies and deception. The party leader made these remarks while addressing the press upon arrival at the Banjul International Airport on Thursday morning. Bintu Fati was there, and now she files in this report.
The All People's Party, APP, is one of the newest political parties registered in the country, and Dr. Brian Jany is the party's leader and flag bearer. Dr. Jany has on Thursday returned home from the United Kingdom to take charge of his party. Speaking to journalists at the Banjul International Airport, Dr. Jany criticized the borough administration for not fulfilling the promises they made to the Gambians, citing security crisis, illegal migration, poor healthcare system, amongst a host of other issues.
Leadership is a challenge. It's not easy to be a leader, but you have a leader who would say something today and change tomorrow. I mean, you ask him, say, I was politicking. We have to get away from that politicking of lies and deception. That's how to play Gambia and Africa as a whole. We have to be honest to the Gambian people. We have to tell them the facts, whether they like it or not.
He further hinted that corruption in the highest institutions of the country is what is retarding the development and growth of the country.
The first thing that when the government puts a project in and there's money, the first thing they do at the ministry is see how they can put money in their pockets. We know, I'm not repeating. This is not now. This is throughout the government history, even during Jawara's time. So time has come, 56 years, and Gambia is not even quarter of what Singapore is today. And Gambia and Singapore had independence about the same time.
The party commits to fight corruption by declaring all assets of public servants once they assume power come December 2021. For our Africa TV News, I am Bintu Fati.
The All People's Party leader there speaking and, of course, encouraging Gambians to eliminate or to stop politicking of lies and deception. Now, several African countries, including Botswana, have restarted its poultry business with South Africa after an initial ban when the avian flu outbreak was reported with some South African farms. The move came after the country's agriculture department initiated plans to engage other nations as to how they could continue their business with unaffected farms in the country. The Rainbow Nation had experienced a flu in 2017, which severely affected the poultry industry. And here's more details of that in this report.
SA Poultry believes the avian flu outbreak is contained to 3 affected farms in Gauteng and in the Northwest Province. Authorities are managing to contain the outbreak, drawing on their experience from a devastating outbreak in 2017.
What the Department of Agriculture have done in the past, and also during this outbreak, was to negotiate with the importing countries that import from South Africa for what we call compartmentalization. And that is really something similar to our provinces, where we try to keep certain provinces negative of the disease and others that might be positive will obviously be banned. So we do have a successful system of compartmentalization. And only 2 compartments are currently registered as positive for the disease.
Lesotho and Swaziland have continued with restrictions on Gauteng imports, while Botswana has lifted some of its restrictions and has agreed to take supplies from unaffected farms. Mozambique continues to import unrestricted.
Various programs or systems were put in place since 2017 to assist us in not getting the disease, firstly, and then secondly, once you get the disease, how we can control the spread of the disease. I think three important points here would be that we've got the ability to very quickly react, isolate a farm, and cull the chickens. Those chickens never end up in the market. So that is one very important one. Secondly, we've got a system, a computerized web-based system, where our producers that regularly test for influenza.
This current strain of the disease is highly contagious. Poultry producers remain on high alert, but the agricultural sector, together with animal health, have been quick and efficient in containing a potential wider spread.
From the report there in South Africa, now to some other news. Now, the students of the University of the Gambia have branded the nation's lawmakers after failed bid to allocate a sum of 54 million loan scheme, saying they are a bunch of green tea brewers. Now, the country's Supreme Court has earlier this week ruled that the National Assembly violated the Constitution when it amended the 2021 budget bill and allocated the said sum to parliamentarians. Jamanka, a final year law student, said some of the lawmakers are just passengers as they only go in for what favors them. And here's more details of that by Fatma Kasim.
The Supreme Court of the Gambia ruled on Tuesday that the National Assembly violated the Constitution when it amended the 2021 budget bill and allocated a loan of 54.4 million to parliamentarians and staff of the National Assembly. The country's highest court said the lawmakers lacked the power to create their own budget line. The ruling came after the Gambia participated in the Center for Research and Policy Development filed a lawsuit against the National Assembly. The plaintiffs sought and have now obtained the Supreme Court's issue a declaration that the amendment done by the National Assembly is in contravention of Section 151, 152 and 155 of the Constitution and violation of Section 47 of the Public Finance Act 2014. Esa Jamanka, a final year law student, said the ruling should serve as a lesson for the National Assembly members and all Gambians.
It should be a lesson to them, and also it should be a lesson to all Gambians, because this is a signal that the Gambians should be responsible. Gambians should vote in individuals to represent them, individuals who are concerned about their sorrows, their agonies. Okay, because you look at what is happening in the National Assembly, I will say I'm not even surprised that they came up with this. You know, we have people who in the National Assembly, all they are doing is to advocate for their own interests. They don't care about you and me, who voted for them to be in the National Assembly. So it is a lesson for some of the NAMs, you know, and then a lesson to all Gambians. Yeah, we should vote in people whom you know that they will speak for the interests of the people, not for their interests, actually. Because if you look at it in our National Assembly, I can say we have a whole lot of bunches of attire brewers, not to talk of my NAM, actually. So it is very, very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And then Gambians should take it upon them to contest.
Fantasane, a law student of the University of the Gambia, is of the view that developing the jurisprudence of the country is key, adding that this court case is one way that has contributed. Fanta further described the decision of the court as one of the most progressive decisions of all times.
This again shows that the Supreme Court or the judiciary is independent, and we can always count on them in issues of when issues of unconstitutionalities arise every time. So this again shows that our jurisprudence is actually developing as well, because in other progressive jurisdictions you will find out that their laws are developed because they are tested, and then that is something that the Gambia is currently lacking. So the fact that our laws are being tested is one way of developing our jurisprudence, and then this can serve as an example for other jurisdictions to also learn from, because when an issue of this nature arises in countries like Kenya or Nigeria, and this case has been decided in Gambia, it can be quoted as one of the examples that can be quoted before the court, and then the court will take precedence. They will look at it and they will take judicial notice of the fact that this is an issue that has been decided in the Gambia and it's progressive. The decisions that was taken by the Supreme Court judges is progressive, and so they can rely on it to reach at a sound decision, and that would not amount to a miscarriage of justice. So yeah, for me personally, developing our jurisprudence is key, and this is one way that has contributed to it, and that is a plus for the Gambia at large. Yeah.
In November 2020, less than 2 years before the end of their legislature, Gambians lawmakers triggered concern among citizens when they decided to allocate the staggering sum from the approved annual estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 2021. The money was meant to build houses on plots of land given to them by government of President Adama Barrow. Later the same year, two leading civil society organization groups, Gambia Participate and Center for Research and Policy Development, mounted a legal challenge on the decision of the nation's parliamentarians, a motion for injunction that was heard on 19 January 2021. The two civil society organizations demanded that the highest court of the land issued an order that prevent parliamentarians from pocketing the said loan. For iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kasim.
Law students at the University of the Gambia joins the debate on the National Assembly loan scheme after the Supreme Court, of course, declared the move as unlawful or unconstitutional. Now, there are growing concern among African leaders, including the Africa CDC, that the increase in COVID-19 cases and deaths in India could affect the ongoing coronavirus vaccine rollout in the continent. The Asian country's decision to stop vaccines exports may further hinder the progress of the ongoing vaccination program in different countries. Now, despite the worries, the African leadership could now rely on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after an initial agreement with the South African firm. And here are more details of that in this report.
The unexpectedly rising COVID-19 new cases and deaths due to the pandemic in India continue to worry the African continent. What's even worse is, due to the decisions of the Indian authorities to halt vaccines exports, African vaccination plans remain in jeopardy.
There is no doubt that the India situation, as we have discussed on this platform already, has severely impacted the predictability of the rollout of vaccination programs, and will continue to do so for the coming weeks and perhaps months.
But there is also good news. Because of the arrangements made earlier with Johnson & Johnson, Africa could receive at least 120 million doses of vaccines soon.
That supply will start hopefully, not hopefully, but the agreement and the contract says that it will start delivery the first quarter, the beginning of the third quarter. So I think that is what we have in our hands, and we are doing all we can to address the situation from the African Union side as much as possible.
Africa so far has received close to 32 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines, with about 18 million doses administered already. That number is too low compared to the more than 1.4 billion people residing in the continent. So for now, Africa is advised to focus on strengthening COVID-19 preventive measures until enough vaccine doses are secured. The current chairperson of the African Union, who is also president of DR Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, will be hosting a continent-wide meeting which will bring all health ministers of member nations. This emergency gathering, which will take place by the end of this week, has aimed to put the continent on alert and discuss what Africa must do to collectively ensure that a spike of corona cases like in India will not happen in the continent.
The devastating COVID-19 situation in India could, of course, disrupt Africa's COVID-19 vaccination program, as the Asian country decided to stop export of its vaccines export, of course, for now. And there's more news coming ahead, but for now, we'll take a break and come back shortly with the remainder of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back, and this is Africa TV. Once again, many thanks for joining us. Now, the Public Utility and Regulatory Authority, PURA, has on Thursday conducted a stakeholder dialogue to address petroleum-related issues in the country. The discussion that centered on licensing and road transportation brought together business entities in the road transport sector and other relevant stakeholders to enhance their capacity. The stakeholders described the forum as timely and necessary, as it will pave the way for them to operate efficiently and in accordance with the regulations. Details of that in this report by Maria Macham.
The regulatory body gathered entities operating in the petroleum products, road transport business, drivers, and the security to discuss issues ranging from proper licensing as well as PURA's guidelines on the testing regime on road tankers and vehicles transporting petroleum products in the Gambia. Licensing and proper driving has been a major challenge facing the security forces, as sometimes vehicles could be seen hugely packed along the highway due to invalid licensing, among other issues. Modlamin Samposize, Director of Petroleum, Water and Energy, says PURA have developed an inspection regime to an international standard meant to inspect a vehicle before a certificate is given. Mr. Cisse adds that some drivers were trained on safety as the country is growing significantly with traffic.
We have also in 2019 conducted training for drivers, again with our partner Royal Energy, Mr. Haidara, because safety is very important, as well as with the Gambia Fire Service. The whole reason we're doing this is that over the last 4 years, the country is growing significantly. We are seeing a lot of traffic, a lot of new petrol stations, and the delivery of this transport of the petroleum products into these areas would require higher standards. And so the vehicles have to be up to standard, the drivers have to be competent and also know what to do.
Inexperience and reckless driving are said to be one of the major causes of road accidents in the country. However, the security always came into conflict with drivers without proper license and other traffic regulations. Abdou Jan, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, explained some of the issues.
Recently, we have an issue with the Gambia Transport Union. I think they are around. Some people have been going for testing at the police garage to renew their driver license, and we seize them because we realize that when they go for testing, they fail the highway code, which means that they acquire their driving license through the back way. So the age limit also, we are working on that. We have seen also people having 24 years, 21 years driving vehicles of 30 tons, which is very dangerous on our highways. So that's what we are doing as at now.
Yaya Kamara, a supply chain officer at Riders for Health, who was also a participant, explains the importance of such forums from the regulatory authorities.
Personally, for me, it's very of great importance. We are working at Riders for Health, as I said, and we are directly dealing with the transport resource management. Here, when you talk of transport, in this particular forum, petroleum products, you can never dispense them without transport. So the transport aspect of it is paramount to safety, which we also should endeavor that the safeties are implemented. So actually, I want to generalize it because right now the rate of accidents happening in our society is just alarming. So in ensuring that those safety measures are implemented, this is one of the forums that you can achieve those objectives.
Previous regulations require that basic equipments for tanker trucks carrying petroleum fuels in the Gambia shall have transit vehicles from foreign countries. All vehicles shall be driven by a driver licensed by the Gambia Police Force, including placards with emergency numbers of the Gambia Fire and Rescue Services 118 and classification of the cargo and others. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham.
The Public Utility Regulatory Authority, PURA, and its partners there met to discuss on issues affecting the petroleum sector. Now, due to its growing population in the Southern Africa country, Zimbabwean authorities have sold hunting rights for 500 elephants. The move has, however, triggered debate among citizens as to what could the country benefit from such decisions. As of 2014, Zimbabwe is said to be hosting over 80,000 elephants, which some believe is causing threat to the people while they are destroying their own habitat. And let's have more details of that in this report.
Between May and October each year, hundreds of wild animals are fair game for trophy hunters. The most prized targets are lions and elephants. This year, Zimbabwe is selling hunting rights for over 500 of the latter because it says there are too many of them.
The numbers are there. And I think there's enough evidence to say our elephants in Southern Africa, they are overpopulated. In fact, the elephants are becoming a danger unto themselves in terms of destroying their own habitat. The evidence is there. If you visit Hwange today, it's not what it was 20, 30 years ago.
A 2014 census showed Zimbabwe was home to over 83,000 elephants, a population that has been growing at an estimated 5% per year. Deprived of revenue it could generate by selling its ivory stockpile, the country sees hunting quotas as an important source of money for conservation. Proponents of trophy hunting say it brings in income, which helps communities that live adjacent to and bear the brunt of conflicts with the wild animals. However, opponents say the benefits are overstated.
Over the years, we have seen issues to do with corruption at community level. We have seen even communities are actually complaining that they are not getting any benefits from this process.
Controversial hunts value at national level has also been questioned.
There are some researches which you can check on. They are indicating that trophy hunting per se contributes around 0.3% to the national economy. It is tourism where people come in to view, not to hunt. That is bringing much needed fiscus into the national economy.
The raging debate poses important questions.
If you were to go to a community member who has lost their crops due to wildlife, to a community member who lost their loved one due to an attack, maybe by an elephant, you will understand that yes, we really need to look at trophy hunting. How do we make it more sustainable? How do we ensure that the benefits reach communities this time around?
The government is revamping a rural community resource management program to address the concerns.
And from the report there in Zimbabwe, we finally bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on iAfrica.tv. But for now, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.